Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bibliophila. Today I'll be discussing Act 1 Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. Act 1 Scene 2 takes place in a room in Portia's house at Belmont. Here we are introduced to the characters of the various suitors who have come to win Portia's hand in marriage and to Nerissa, her lady in waiting. Portia does not support her deceased father's will, which says that every suitor had to play a game with 3 caskets, gold, silver and lead. The one who chose the right casket would win Portia's hand in marriage. She says that she is tired of this world which has no regard for her opinions and thoughts. Nerissa, who is far less privileged than Portia is, says that Portia should be thankful for all the privileges that she has in life. She should not wallow over what she does not have, rather take advantage of what she has. She believes that people who have too much or too little of anything tend to suffer and age faster than people who have just enough. Portia says that it takes a good preacher to practice what he preaches. It is very easy to know what is the right thing to do than to do that. If the preacher practiced what he preached, then chapels would have been churches, cottages would have been princess' palaces. The brain is like an old grandfather which tells the young spirit, which is like a hare, what to do. The hare leaps over the cold advices. Portia is disheartened to see that her father can devise such a will, but Nerissa has complete faith in the will. She believes that one who does not deserve Portia would never choose the right casket. Hereafter, Portia goes on to describe the various suitors as Nerissa names them one by one. First, Portia describes the Neapolitan prince. Neapolitans are known for their horsemanship. This prince talks of nothing but horses. He thinks it is a credit to his character that he can shoe a horse all by himself. He is a colt, that is, a young and inexperienced man. Second, Portia describes the Count Palatine. A count is a local ruler or a nobleman, and Palatine is the region of Palatinate on the west bank of River Rhine. She says that the Count Palatine frowns more than any man she has ever met. He does not even care if Portia does not like him. Portia thinks that if the Count is such a sober man when he is young, he would be Heraclitus of Ephesus, the weeping philosopher who went to live in the mountains because he was tired of man's stupidity when he grew old. She would rather be married to a death's head with a bone in its mouth than to either of these two men. Next, she describes Monsieur Le Bon, the French lord. This name is a satirical expression literally meaning Sir the Good. She says that he is every man in no man. She would be married to 20 husbands if she married this man. He is so eager to show off his fencing skills that he could fence his own shadow. Every time a bird started singing, he started dancing. Next, Portia describes Falconbridge, the young Baron of England, who was a handsome person but spoke only English. Portia did not speak English, she spoke only Latin, Italian and French. This man was also very oddly dressed. He brought his jacket in Italy, breeches in France, bonnet in Germany, and his behavior everywhere. Next, Portia describes the Scottish lord who had a neighborly charity in him for the Englishman, since he let him box him in the ear without paying him back. Then, lastly, Portia describes the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew, who was a little less than a man in the morning when he was sobering up, and a little more than a beast in the afternoon when he was drunk. He was just like a sponge. A sponge absorbs water and he absorbs alcohol madly. To avoid him from choosing the right casket, Portia advises Nerissa to keep a glass of Rhenish wine on the wrong casket. The devil within him will prompt him to choose that casket. The Rhenish wine is a rich white wine which is made from the grapes in the Rhine Valley in Germany. Even for a suitor to attempt choosing a casket, he had to take an oath that if he chose the wrong casket, he would not speak of marriage to any lady in the future. So the suitors were not at all eager to play the game of caskets. Portia mourns that if she were to live as old as Sibylla, she would be as chaste as Diana. Sibylla is now portrayed as a traditional old woman. She was a Roman prophetess to whom Apollo granted as many years of life as there were grains of sand held in the palm of her hand. Diana is the Roman goddess of virginity, hunting and the moon. Portia then continues mourning, and then Nerissa, to cheer her up, praises Bassanio in a satirical way, since she said only things that Portia wants to hear. She describes Bassanio as a Venetian scholar and soldier who came to visit her in the company of the Marquis of Montferrat when Portia's father was still alive. Bassanio is neither of these things. Then servant arrives announcing that a forerunner had come from the Prince of Morocco, saying that his lord would appear at night. Here Portia makes a racist comment, saying that if the Prince of Morocco had the complexion of a devil and the character of a saint, he would rather have him hear her confession than marry her.